How are you?
Perfect, bud. I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you guys doing?
Well, doing wonderful. It's great to have you back on. The last time you were on the Starcade Stories podcast, Brock, you were living and coaching in Italy. So that's been a minute.
Yeah, it has been a minute, Clint. Yeah, and now I'm on this side of the pond and actually
Yes.
back in my own backyard. So it's a great feeling to be home.
It's been a magical season, no doubt. It's no coincidence, Brock, that you return here and Missouri is in the midst of this magical season, man. At 8-2, we stand on business against the Tennessee Volunteers. We're going to do it again as the Florida Gators come in this Saturday. Just what's this ride been like for you this season, man? To see the growth of these guys that have been through so much and so much negativity and mediocrity, to say the least, and to see it come to fruition like this, I can't imagine a better feeling for a coach.
Yeah, absolutely, Clint. It's just it's pride. I have pride just running through my veins right now, and to see I got here in February, so I got to see the progress of this team from the nitty gritty winter workout days through spring ball, summer workouts, and now to the to from fall camp now to the season. And so I've seen the progress, and I've seen how Coach Drinkwitz has preached from day one that we have something to prove. And sure enough, the guys bought in, and they've gone out there and they've done that every day in practice. And that's the key, Clint, is these guys, they took it one day at a time, a 1-0 mindset every day, and you could see it. And was it a grind? Yeah, absolutely. But that's the price you pay to win football games at the highest level. And so I think our guys they're proud of what they've done, but they're not ready to stop. We're going to keep rolling.
Yeah, no question about it. Still 2 games to go, and then more on the table. So for you to join this staff, to be a part of this, talk about just that journey, how it happened to join Drinkwitz, Coach Eli Drinkwitz's staff. Eric Link there, a tremendous special teams coordinator here, and just sort of how this all worked out for you. Because when I saw it happening, and then I saw like social media posts where you're like running the stairs at Faroe Field, a lot of people, a lot of Mizzou fans are just like, it just clicked into place. Like, man, this just feels right. It's just meant to be.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Well, first of all, I owe a debt of gratitude to both Coach Drinkwitz and Coach Link for giving me the opportunity to come back home and to join their staff. Coach, I basically, for lack of better terms, stalked Drinkwitz in the off season. Said, "Hey man, hey man, I want to come work for you. I want to come work for my alma mater. I want to contribute, and here's what I can bring to the table." And he and Link met with me. Link interviewed me, and thankfully I got an opportunity. So, and as you said, you mentioned it. Eric Link is a very highly accomplished special teams coordinator. He's very intelligent, very organized. And so it's been a great experience for me, Clint, and our players are awesome. We've done a great job. Not we, they have done a great job recruiting prior to my arrival here. So we're all enjoying the fruits of that labor right now. So it's a joy to coach these kids, and I have to sometimes step back and say, wait a minute, like we're a fellow alumni, or you guys are future alumni, but like I'm a Tiger. Like this is a really special thing for me, and so it makes you want to coach the guys a little bit harder, or if a guy needs a hug, if a guy needs some encouragement, you can tell a kid's struggling. Right? It just being here for me, Clint. I mean, if I have to coach in college, this is the place that I want to coach. Absolutely, because you're never going to love a place as much as you love your alma mater, and it's not even work. It's a joy and a privilege for me to be able to come here every day, traverse the campus where I did my undergrad, spent the best days of my life, and then come to work at Faurot Field. I mean, that's like a dream come true for me.
And then the season playing out the way it has, and the special teams, what a unit this year. I always say to the casual fan, like, if you watch football and you just don't really notice that the special teams does anything good or bad or otherwise, that's probably a good year for the special teams. That's not always been the case here. This season, though, you have two, not one, but two, not just great, but monumental special teams plays that have defined the season. Harrison's 61-yard field goal against Kansas State. And, of course, the pass to Marquise Johnson against Kentucky. Right. And to me, Luke Bauer's pass to Johnson in that case, almost, it seems like that was a catalyst for turning that game around and maybe the season, because the first two drives had been not so good, down 14-0. There's a turnover, and then that happens. That was the spark. So high marks on the special teams, and that has to make you feel good about joining the staff here, as the unit's just been tremendous.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, again, that starts with Eric Link. I mean, he's the architect of it, and he does a great job, and he gets the guys to buy in on a daily basis, has really high expectations for them. And so they show up ready to work every day. So, and it's a credit to our players for their work ethic. And so it's just, like you said, Clint, it's a real joy to be a part of it. And I'm just proud. I'm really proud.
Well, going back to your day, you guys did this last game bring out the Block M helmets. That had to make you feel good, if nothing else, to see
that made me feel so good. I was sitting there at the beginning of the game, and I tapped our equipment manager, Big Mike Karowski, on the shoulder. And I said, man, brother, well done. This like gave me feels like I was getting goosebumps, like, wow, this is awesome. Thank you for doing that.
I think so much changed during your time at Mizzou. I think when you first started, the Block M was white, and then it went to gold, right?
Correct. That's exactly right. Yeah, I think my first year it was white, and then from 95 on we were gold. It was gold. Yeah.
Well, I have a lineage here, and the Starcade Stories podcast really is about people and hearing stories from people that helped formulate what we do here at Starcade Media in Kansas City, which is our upbringing as fans, really. And from that to being media covering the team now, it's a truly an unbelievable link. And my first Mizzou game ever, Brock, you'll remember this game because I know you. It was against Bowling Green your sophomore year.
Sure.
It's the first time I walked in Faurot Field.
Yeah,
we lost that game 17-10.
Yes, we did.
But something inside me right there, my dad, he's the credit for all this, because he was the one that would sit me down and be like, oh, this guy here, Wilson Alvarez, he's the next great quarterback. Oh, can't score any. Yeah, this is the guy. Oh, man, we got this fullback named Ron James. Oh, what do you see this Brock Olivo guy? He's from a small town. He's from, Washington, Missouri. And he would sell me on these players. And I'd be like, Dad, are they ever going to win? And right. So, but that game, that day really laid the groundwork for me. And not only that, but that was laying the groundwork for this program. And to see where it went from there, like, just how gratifying was that to finally get to 1997 and to talk about seeing, the rewards. This team's feeling it. That's exactly what you guys felt in 97.
It is, Clint, and it's really fun and emotional, to reflect upon that time, especially because, Coach has passed away, Coach Smith, and
sure.
And I got together with, as I frequently have done this season, got together with some teammates this past weekend, and we were talking about how, they were in the stands, and they were like, man, Brock, it was emotional being there and seeing Faurot in that state, full, energetic, electric, like it had come back to in 97 after all those years. And one of the guys said, man, wouldn't Coach love to see it? Wouldn't Coach love?
Wow.
Yeah. And so that, that was kind of a, that made me stop and reflect and be like, you know what? Yeah, he would, because, Clint, like, a lot of people don't realize, especially, and it's normal, it's natural, but because we're going back a ways now, but like, at one point, Missouri really was the doormat of the Big Eight, and really one of the one of the probably the worst teams um, in all of Division One big time football back in those years. There were 13 straight losing seasons. I mean, that can take a toll not only on a program and its recruiting, but its fan base. And the fans are the ones who give us life, on game day, and they keep us up and they keep us focused on game day. They have no idea how important they are for us, I don't think, but they sure as heck they come out and they pour it out here on game days, and it's awesome. So, whoever this is reaching, please know that you do count on game day, and we feed off of you. And so what our fans are doing right now is amazing, and we got to experience that in '97. And when we solidified the winning season there at Colorado, coming back from that game, Clint, I'll never forget. We landed at Columbia Regional, and there were, I don't know how many fans, but there were a lot of fans on the
Wow.
tarmac waiting for us, because that's how starved we all were for Mizzou football to be relevant again. And Coach did that, and I don't think he gets enough credit for that, because what he inherited was really, really dark,
Yeah.
and uh, and
Yeah, it
he
was.
yeah, he got it off the ground, and then Gary Pinkel obviously takes over and takes it to where he took it, which was awesome. I mean, it got him to the College Football Hall of Fame, and now what Drink has managed to do this year with the something to prove motto, and sticking to that every day and not letting our guys rest on their laurels, after big wins and after stacking wins and whatnot. So he's done a fantastic job. I believe he's relating well to the players, and he's getting the best out of them on a daily basis. And that's the magic of coaching.
Well, you talk about kind of the emotional side of things. I don't know if this is going to show up. We'll see if it does. This is me on the field. Yes, that's me. If you want to feel a little old, that was me after you guys, I think, beat Eastern Michigan in
Wow.
'97. So
Yeah,
check that out. That was Charlie Batch and the East,
that's right.
your future teammate, and
Right.
that was me. Wow, I wish I still had that shirt. That's an awesome shirt.
That is an awesome shirt, actually. That's an awesome shirt,
I mean,
man.
look at all the white in the crowd. Everybody wore white back then. My goodness.
Right. You're right. My gosh. Yeah.
That
Well, mid '90s, Clint. I mean, that's where we were.
I
Mid
know, but
mid '90s, buddy, or where? Yeah, mid to late '90s. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, that was the season opener. That's right.
yeah. Yeah, and that just it really, compounded and that whole season. And then I have to bring this up because the anniversary just happened, the 26-year anniversary of the flea kicker, the kicked ball in Nebraska. One of the proudest moments any Missouri fan ever, any Missouri fan remembers this game, and
I
what
know.
it maybe the most proud that anyone's ever been in a loss. And for you, you had 2 touchdowns in that game. You had a receiving touchdown. You took it to Nebraska all game. But what I don't think ever asked you or talked to you about is what you were feeling from the sidelines when you saw this happen, this play, and it's a touchdown, and the game's tied.
Yeah. Yeah. It was in a word, Clint, it was surreal.
Mm.
It was surreal. It was like, somebody wake me up, somebody pinch me. You've got to be kidding me. Um, and there are some photos and some images of Coach Smith's face after it happened too, and he was incredulous, and he's, at that point in his career, Clint, he had seen it all. He had
Yeah,
seen it all,
yes, literally at that point.
right?
And
Right.
I just watched the video of it, and he did have that just disbelief. And
Yeah,
as did I. I was 14, and I remember like never being crushed so much by a loss. And I was a big Chiefs fan, so I saw playoff
yeah,
losses, Colts, and then the Broncos. That was so crushing. But that's where Missouri fans, I think, learned to be crushed by a football game. I wasn't crushed leaving in '95 when we lost to Bowling Green, but that
right.
day, that's what you guys had done and
Exactly.
through that season.
Exactly. And I think what hurt the most is that we realized, and we all believed it, like the players, we believed it because we wouldn't have played Nebraska that well that night had we not believed. Like, we were playing to win that game, Clint. We were.
Yeah. Was it Mike? One of your linemen had said that had almost predicted victory.
Oh yeah,
Was it?
Mike Morris, our big
Yeah,
left
that's
guard.
right. Yeah.
He said we're gonna kick these guys' ass.
Yeah.
We are. I
And you
feel,
did, because
and
if
we
you
did.
looked at, oh my God, Grant Wistrom, Eric Warfield, these are NFL players all over the place.
Oh
And you
yeah,
saw Scott Frost, their jerseys were torn to
yeah.
shreds
We went out
after that game.
You're right. We went out and we hit him right in the mouth. That's what we did, and that's what got us to that point. And that's what we did that night. But we just turned it up a notch.
Do you feel like, yeah.
We turned it up a notch, yeah. And Faroe did too.
Do you feel like it was electric? Do you feel like the players from this team, not that they experienced like something as crazy as that, but going to Georgia, number one, losing the way they did, maybe felt some of this as well, and the resiliency to come back from that? It's just like what you guys experienced, because you came back and beat Baylor, bowl eligible. I still have that bowl bound sign somewhere, still tattered and signed by half the team, so I got to find that. But that this year's team kind of experienced the same thing.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. And there was no miracle play that they had to pull off. Thank God. Nothing crazy like that happened. But no, this team definitely did that, and you saw the resolve in this team, and the sort of the dogged faith, like in Drink's word, like, hey guys, you know what? We just went toe to toe with number one, and we're right there, man. But here's the thing: is that whole "we're right there" thing. That's what kind of got under everyone, like in our building, in our locker room. That's what got under our skin and made us want to come back and play even harder the next week. And we saw the results, because we don't want to hear that, Clint. We don't want to hear that, oh, Mizzou's right there, they're a good team, but we don't want the conjunction. We just want, we're a good team, period. Here comes Mizzou. We better buckle our chin straps and get ready to roll, because it's going to be a heavyweight fight for 4 quarters.
It's 4 quarters of hell. I almost said 40 minutes of hell, which was the old Arkansas basketball and Mizzou basketball mantra, but it's 4 quarters of hell. And that's what Drinkwitz has preached. And this Tennessee game meant a lot to Coach Drinkwitz. We saw the clips gone viral. We've all seen it. You stand on business here. Talk about him, your relationship with Coach Drinkwitz, and just like what it meant that personally from him to have gotten, because this season, Drinkwitz needed this season, and it's beautifully orchestrated by him, by the talent he's brought in, by the culture he's built, and to go out there and do that, there's no love lost with the Tennessee Volunteers, and that's something that Drinkwitz can hold his hat on. That win is massive. One of the most dominant performances I can remember over a ranked team that I can remember as a Missouri fan. So
yeah, absolutely. And to do it at home, Clint, is so big. And because so many times over the years, right, we've seen teams come in here and pretty much control the narrative, the game, but that did not happen this last week. And so to go back to your question, so my rapport with Drink is it's a professional rapport. We don't interact a lot during the day, obviously, because he's the head coach and I'm just an analyst on special teams. But when we do have interaction, he's awesome. He's a great person to work for, and he's very knowledgeable. And again, it's fun to be able to sit back and watch how he interacts with the team and takes these guys to places where they can't go on their own. And to me, that's the essence of coaching. So it's been a pleasure.
So a lot of people, Brock, not that I would put this on you to make such a comparison, but a lot of Mizzou fans talk about Cody Schrader in the same vein that they talked about you, and just the guts, the determination, a lot of comparisons there, coming from, where he came from, Division II, to leading the SEC in rushing. It's a great story. It's unbelievable. And I'm just grateful that I get to cover him and do interviews and things like that. So when you see what Cody Schrader has done, do you see some of yourself in
Oh,
7?
yeah, I do. I wish I had his talent. My gosh, it he's awesome. And people always preface his story with, well, he was a Division II guy. Well, people just missed on him. They missed on him. He was a whale of a talent coming out of high school, and somebody dropped the ball on him because he's one of the best football players, not just running back, but football players I've ever been around. Because Clint, he'll line up on the punt team. He's a starter on our punt team as well. So he didn't come out of the game at all on special teams last week either. I don't know if people know that, but he lines up and runs down the field and covers punts. He has to protect and then run down the field and cover punts, together with playing running back, which is what I did too. And so you bet your butt I'm appreciating this kid. And for me, he's the archetype of what you're looking for in a football player. He works harder than anybody. It's no accident. In other words, Clint, this is not a miracle season for him. It's not some sort of freak thing. This is who Cody Schrader is. And it's just a shame that years ago somebody missed on him. It's a shame that they overlooked him, is what I mean. It's just a shame because the kid is everything you're looking for in a player. And I know the whole measurables thing. People get caught up on measurables. The height and that. He's a football player. That's why people you gotta dig on kids and figure out who they are, what they're made of inside. And I guess that's the essence of recruiting, of good recruiting, is figuring out what kids are made of, because I just can't say enough good things about Cody. And it makes me proud, obviously, because we played the same position. We're both special teams players as well, leaders, but I wish I was as good as he was. Trust me.
Well, you you had some moments, Brock. Your number was retired. Yeah, I think because of you, Missouri can't retire numbers anymore because they've run out of numbers to retire. So now, because of Brock Olivo, we just got to do the name on the outside. Like Jeremy Macklin came in this year, and it's like, man, we have to have players like number 0 now because we got so many numbers retired. So,
correct.
Right. You did some work in your day too, Mr. Olivo. We can't sleep on that.
Yeah, I know. And I like to, obviously I always like to sort of deflect, because it's about our kids here, and it's about it's about the present, and it's about the future. But I like to focus on the present. I think I love Drink's philosophy of the 1-0 mindset. And that's not just applied on a Saturday, Clint. That's applied on a Tuesday, right? That's how you prepare. You prepare on a Tuesday, which is a grinder day for us, right? You prepare to be 1-0. And that means you win the next play. You win the meeting that you're going to. You win whatever. You win the weight workout. You win the meal that you're eating, meaning you make good decisions on what you put in your body. It's everything, A to Z. And I think that's something that's been a huge key to our success this year. I really do.
I get the feeling that, for especially a lot of these seniors, a lot of those defensive seniors, Chris Abrams-Drain, Ennis Rakestraw, Darius Robinson, so many of these guys stayed together. I mean, J.C. Carlisle, there's so many, this whole unit, and they've been through so much together. They came back this year where they had other options. You could leave. God, we know what the transfer portal is. We know that exists. These guys came back, and Ennis Rakestraw's fought through injuries. He had to stay home and miss games and watch and tweet from home.
Mm-hmm.
So give us your thoughts on this defense, because like I said, after the first 2 drives of Kentucky, this has been a different defense, and it is dominant. Blake Baker deserves a lot of credit, but man, it's got to be exciting to watch these guys excel.
It is, and you mentioned the long list of stars. I mean, we have a star-studded defense because they established their identity last year, and then now this is chapter two, and Bake's got them. He's got them foaming at the mouth. I mean, they're salty now, and they fly around, and you can see it even in practice. I mean, they're competitive in practice amongst one another, so it's no surprise to me that they perform like they do on game day, Clint. But to your point, the fact that they decided to come back this year and stay with Drink and Bake and their teammates, and a lot of them, they they postpone their NFL careers, and that's huge. I mean, that's huge, and so yeah, it's just a testament to, again, it's a testament to the brotherhood that Drink has built here, and those guys, they want to be a part of that as long as they can.
Well, it's been amazing to watch. I can't wait for more. I'm open, man. I don't have any kids and I'm not married. I'm open for the holiday season. So you just tell me where we're going bowling. I'm going to be there. I can't wait because
All right,
being able
brother.
to not only be a fan, it's now I get to cover this team. I'm up in the press box. I get to cover the team that I grew up watching. So it's kind of a full circle moment for both you and I here.
Awesome. It
And
really
I
is.
love it.
Yeah.
I was at Georgia. I was between the hedges. I've been to every
Right.
SEC stadium now. What do you think of the SEC in general? Is part of you wish that you would have got a crack against some of these teams, or was it hard enough? I mean, the Oklahomas, Nebraskas. I mean,
yeah, I mean, the landscape has changed so much. I mean, Clint, like when we were in school, the Big 12 and the Big Eight. I mean, the national champions were coming out of different
sure.
conferences. Like Nebraska was the team to beat, Michigan, those guys. So it was a completely different landscape. The SEC now is, I think, without a doubt, the Premier League. I mean, and that's just, I mean, if you just look at draft day, I mean, that's where the bulk of the draft day selections are going, in the NFL. So coming from the SEC, so the level of competition that you're going to face each week is it's crazy. Like, you can never ever let your guard down, ever, because anybody can beat anybody in this league because there's so much talent across the board. So yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's fun to see the evolution of college football and how you know how it's growing exponentially, and how there's so many football players out there now. Everyone is, what's the word I'm looking for? Everyone has exposure. Whereas back when I was playing, there wasn't huddle, there wasn't the ease of getting video to staffs. I mean, it was spotty. Like there were pockets of good players, and everywhere in between, sometimes guys got lost. Fell through the cracks. But now everybody has a chance to be seen, and so the level of competition has gone through the roof. And so the SEC, yeah, it's the Premier League, but man, there are good football teams all over this country now, and which is what makes it so much fun come this time of year, right? November and December. My gosh, it's exciting.
Yeah, Gary Pinkel used to say those that win in November will be remembered. That is what's on the line here, these next two games. And then, like you said, it's 1-0 for Coach Drink and your team, man. You talk about exposure. It's funny because I had to listen to that Colorado 97 game that you referenced earlier on the radio. Mike Kelly driving around with my dad. It wasn't on TV, so I'm like having to listen to it. And it was a different ball game back then. No SEC network, no. I mean, you guys would be like on ABC when you played Nebraska or you played Ohio State that year. With that Colorado
Right.
game, it's hard to even find footage of it. I think there is a YouTube video now, which I had to go back and watch just the other day.
Oh,
You
cool.
should check it out.
Okay, yeah. I would like that. Yeah,
It's great.
it is great. It's good. It's good that these kids are getting this exposure, and it only helps them. It helps them. It helps the university. It helps everybody involved. And so yeah, long live American football.
Well, the last thing before we cut you loose, Brock, definitely don't have to get into specifics because, well, you can't get into specifics about this. these days, but I mean, you got into politics back in 2008, and I just want to know, would you ever consider doing that again? Because let's just say, I'm just going to say it, we need maybe you now more than ever. I don't want to take you away from what you're doing, but that was a great avenue for you. And would you ever reconsider that someday in
Oh
your life?
God, I appreciate you saying that, Clint. I I don't think I was quite cut out. I was in
Really?
yeah, in a word, I got embarrassed. I got my butt kicked, and just I wasn't ready for that. I When I look back and I reflect on that moment, that 8 months, whatever it was, of that campaign, I learned a lot. I definitely did. I also learned a lot about myself, and I realized that that's just not a world that I'm cut out for. I'm not polished by any means. I'm not polished enough. Um, I'm not the. I'm just not the right cut of cloth for that world. I don't think. And to boot, my passion is American football. I mean, for me, this isn't even like coming to work. I mean, my gosh, I get to get up and go teach a game to some awesome young men. I mean, that's a dream come true. So, uh, yeah, but I certainly follow it, and I have a deep amount of respect for whoever has the courage to throw their hat in the ring. But uh, I just don't think I'm cut out for it, my man. But
Well, it's too bad because the people
uh,
that the best of us would be people like you that we're able to excel. I think that the system is set up for that not to be the case. It seems like someone like you would have been wonderful, and I think that off air we would probably get along really well. And I would love to talk to you more about that sometime,
yeah,
maybe in the off season. So yes, I was very excited about that your run in I think 2008. And if
correct.
you ever decide to do it again, you got one vote here. I don't know.
Well, good. Yeah, one vote. That's good. Well, better than none. That's better than
well,
none.
well, best of luck to you this Saturday, man. Going to be there. It's going to be a raucous environment. We're looking for 5 straight sellouts at
Yeah,
Faroe Field. That in and of itself is tremendous, and cannot
really is.
thank you enough for your time. It's always great to catch up, and you're the best, Brock, man. I can't thank you enough, my
Absolutely.
friend.
I appreciate you, brother. And MIZ, my man.
Oh, ZOU, man. We'll see you on Saturday.
Good, brother. See you there.
Thanks a lot.